all his philosophy, I'll tell you.
It's not
people
philosophy.
Don't. Oh, I agree with you, by the way, but I'm just saying the political problem is he lied. And once you lie...
Well, why is it just the lie, buddy? I mean, isn't it also... Listen,
it's credibility and trust.
If somebody sent your daughter a picture of their... If Wiener sends a picture of his wiener.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I'm done with the wiener jokes. I've heard them
all over the place.
But honestly... You know, what would you think as a father?
Well, I would think terrible things about the guy who did it, obviously, and I think terrible things about this Anthony guy. I mean, Wiener. I mean, the guy, what do you want to call him? But the guy, look at him. He's almost crazed. And, you know, he's got a problem. Nobody liked him in Washington. That's the problem. That's why no one is standing up for him. No one is being with him.
He also doesn't have a group of friends who can come to him and say, it's time for you to go. There is nobody around him.
But why? Now, this separates the Democrat and Republican Party.
Well, Anthony Weiner, I think, is particular in this case. He does not have a group of friends around him. He is known to be he needs to be the smartest guy in the room. He needs to always be right. He needs to always have the attention on him. See, in a group of other politicians, that's not going to make
is that telling something about his personality, though?
They're going after this guy because they don't like him. My governor, Arnold Schwarzenegger, he had a baby that was like 10, 11, 12 years old that lived in the home with he and his wife and his other children. I don't see the liberal media going after him in the manner. And I think what this man did was worse, even though both are bad. I think what was worse, Arnold was worse than what Weiner has done. But they seem to like Arnold a little better than they like Weiner.
I don't think that's worse.
No, listen, Sean, this man had a son by the housekeeper, the woman that worked at his house, that was 12 years old.
And he hit it. How did he get away with it?
But this isn't his
You didn't get away with anything.
I got away with nothing. Absolutely nothing. Maybe I should get in a sex scandal or something. Get away with it there.
Yeah, go ahead.
But do you know? As far as Weiner goes, the problem is he doesn't have anybody coming next to him or to support him.
His wife
the same attitude, Sean, as when Elliot Spitzer got in trouble.
They hated him.
They hated him. They don't like Weiner.
Nobody liked him.
And so the same support.
But Weiner's wife is supporting him.
Listen, I think probably within the next 48 hours we might report that Weiner's got a show on CNN. All right, we'll come back more with our great American panel. And we continue now with our great American panel. All right, Newt had a little issues with his staff. Romney is skipping the Iowa straw poll because some conservatives didn't like his comments about the environment and global warming. Palin, I love it. She's giving them fits every day. And Rick
probably going to get in.
Yeah, might get in. Rick Perry of Texas. What do you think?
Well, I think he'd be a good addition to the team. I like. I think what we're seeing with Newt Gingrich is a suicidal mission. I don't know if he really wants to be president or not. He didn't have enough sense when he came back from the Greek Isles there to say, hey, I was going after the Greek vote.
We got a comment from him. Let's run this comment, because this is what he said after all this.
First of all, I am a candidate for president of the United States because I think that we are in the early stages of the Obama depression. We live in a time when Americans are genuinely frightened for their country's future, and when the country really wants to have leadership that talks with them honestly and isn't automatically doing the old politics. We make decisions as a couple. I think most couples would find that refreshing.
A lot of this deals with he took a vacation in the middle of the campaign. It's still very early, I mean, and his staff didn't like it.
But his staff didn't like it. They all left, or most of them left. They think his wife is having a lot to say about the campaign scheduling. He doesn't have any money, from what I understand, not a lot of money to spend on the campaign, and he's squandering whatever he has. And people left because, in the business they're in, resumes are important. Who did you work for? Well, Newt Gingrich. Well, really, we'll come back next week, we'll talk to you. And the fact is that Newt Gingrich is looking to write another chapter in his book. I don't know if he's got the fire in his belly. He's a smart guy, the smartest guy in the room, but he doesn't have the fire in the belly. And I don't think that he really and truly he doesn't want a traditional Republican campaign.
I think he wants to be a presidential candidate. I don't think
he doesn't want to work for it.
I don't think he. Well, I don't even know that he doesn't want to work for it. I think that he wants to be a part of the conversation.
I think it's too early to make any final thought on anybody here, but I think he does have to show the fire in the belly because people have raised the question.
I think he wants to be a part of the conversation. He wants to be on the debate stage. He wants to have his opinion heard among a whole bunch of media who are listening, and there's no better place to be heard than on the presidential campaign trail. I don't think he and his wife were prepared to do
one thing I thought, I didn't like that he went on Meet the Press, and David Gregory plays gotcha, 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 and is that racist? And it was just idiotic, and that's when the Paul Ryan comment came up. And I'm thinking, maybe all these candidates, Republicans, ought to take a page from Sarah Palin and come to a simple truth.
Don't talk.
The liberal media hates you.
Oh,
they will always hate you.
No.
They will never they will never treat a Republican candidate the way they bowed before the altar of Obama. Never. How this man got away?
I think Obama's a special case, but I don't think the answer is to not go on Meet the Press. You go on Meet the Press and you be prepared.
Don't get any,
you go on Meet the Press and give the answers that you want to give. I think that's the answer he wanted to give.
It's a myth that a lot of people watch those shows.
Refreshing.
A lot of people don't watch those shows comparatively. Go ahead.
I have to tell you, Sean, when I like Newt a whole lot.
Yeah, I do too.
But when he did a educational tour with racist, godless Al Sharpton, he lost me. And
I debated Sharpton.
Newt was kind of all over the place, but Al Sharpton is called. Oh my God, I lost the thought. But Al Sharpton is against the families taking their tax dollars and taking their school choice. He called it racist. And Al Sharpton is the worst of the worst of the worst. And for Newt to go and travel with him and validate him.
For that one, wait a minute. For that one issue?
No.
I think you've got to debate people you disagree.
Would he do it with KKK? If he could go out with Al Sharpton, would he go out with Newt, out with the head of the KKK? That's what I like to know.
I tore apart
the same people.
When I was in Alabama, these lunatics in the KKK, I got in their face, but go ahead.
So why shouldn't he go on Meet the Press? I think
I didn't like the fact that he validated Sharpton. He's kind of with Nancy Pelosi.
You know, those are sideshows.
I want a politician
whether he can raise the money, whether he can keep a staff together, and whether he can reignite his campaign.
Won't we see how well he does in the debate?
He'll always do well in the debate. He's a pretty smart guy. He's the smartest guy in the room, but doesn't have the organization.
And by the way, Sean, America love you. Wichita Falls, Texas, Tea Party, love you down there. Alabama, all over. I have to tell you those things.
All right, thank you, guys. And a sneak peek of something coming to a theater near you. Not your typical summer movie, and it has to do with Sarah Palin. Next. There is a movie coming to a theater near you this summer that is not your typical, Hollywood film.
Back in the fall of 2006, I was actually working against Sarah Palin. I didn't feel she could be governor. I didn't feel she was strong enough. I didn't feel she had the gravitas. I didn't feel that she understood all of the issues and thought, there is no way she can take on this machine. And everybody knew, said, I don't think she's the person to do it.
Sarah had courage to try. She had taken on the system already. She was right, and the public knew that she was right, and had the courage to take it on before that became evident, I think, was what propelled her forward.
The Undefeated chronicles of Sarah Palin's time as governor of Alaska and her bursting onto the national stage after being picked as John McCain's running mate in 2008. Now, it hits theaters July the 15th, and the movie's director, Stephen Bannon, joins us right now. Stephen, how are you? Good to see you.
Good to see you, Sean.
How did you even got Mark Levin in this movie? How'd you do that?
First film ever, because Mark Levin has a lot to say in context of what Sarah Palin says, so that's why it was great to have him.
You know, it's interesting. We talked about this earlier in the program. I mean, 24,000 emails released. You got 30 reporters, multiple cameras. You got, the New York Times, Washington Post digging through these 24,000 pages. They never did this to Barack Obama. She goes on tour up the East Coast. Look at the crowds. What is it? You spent, 2 years with her?
I spent a year and a half observing her in the Tea Party movement, and we've made this film in about 9 months. So about over 2 years, really watching Governor Palin or seeing her in the whole movement of the Tea Party. The reason she draws this kind of fire, she's an existential threat to the establishment. At every level, whether it's Wasilla, whether it's Alaska, whether it's the Tea Party movement, she is on the side of the people. She represents working class and middle class values, and that the vested interests in our country are scared to death of her.
And the other thing that I mentioned, she is a threat. They do fear her. There is a deep dislike for her. Almost unprecedented.
It's a pathology.
It's a pathology. I agree.
It's worse than a dislike. It's a pathology.
It's a hatred.
Our film is unrated.
Well, I saw when you start the film, you have all these attacks. How long does that go on for?
It goes for 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And the version that AMC, Arc Entertainment, and AMC is having in Cinedime, it's going to be PG-13. We're going to mask that, what you saw. But I'm going back to 2 editions before that, and I'm going to add in all the stuff we have and have it for 3 minutes on unrated version on DVD.
People need to see this.
They need to see it. It is a pathology that this woman draws, and the reason is because she's a threat to the establishment.
Well, the other thing that really stands out to me, and I've gotten to know Governor Palin, she has courage. She's got a lot of guts. And the other thing is she does things on her terms. Twitter, Facebook, and if you know what, she's like, I'm not giving Katie Couric another interview.
Right.
I'm like, who else is saying this?
Right.
And there are other Republicans, I think, that think somehow if they are nice to the media, that they're going to be nice to them. She's like, they'll always hate me. They'll always hate them.
Look, one of the reasons I wanted to make the film is that I went to Harvard Business School and worked at Goldman Sachs, and I kept hearing this woman mocked while I was watching her in the Tea Party movement. She's as smart and as tough and as courageous as anybody I've had the pleasure to work with or anybody I've been around. I mean, this is a very smart woman, very unconventional, very unconventional, does it by her own rules, and that's what the film shows. And by the way, this clip we just had, Meg Stapleton, who became one of her closest advisors, Meg worked against her when she first ran because of this. Governor Palin's always been underestimated. They don't think she has the gravitas. They don't think she knows the issues. They don't think she can match up with her opponents.
Does that mean, well, first of all, do you have any inclination? Because I'm trying to read this. I mean, I've even probed in emails. Maybe they'll show up in the 24,000. You know, Governor, you think you're going to run? And, you know, I don't get an answer. And she's everything she says to me on air, she says off.
Right.
After studying her and putting this film together, do you think she's going to run?
Here's what I think is important. I think that's why I have Andrew Breitbart and Mark Levin and Tammy Bruce at the end of the film to pull the camera back and set Governor Palin in context of where we are today. I think it's incredibly important to have a primary like the 1976 President Reagan versus the establishment. We need to have a fight in the Republican Party for the soul of the conservative movement.
I agree with you.
The soul of the conservative,
I agree with you.
The soul of the conservative movement. Whether it's only Governor Palin will come to that conclusion, I think, through prayer and consultation with her family. But if she's not in it as a candidate, we need her spirit in it. We need to have this fight now.
If the Republican Party doesn't get tough enough and stand on the Tea Party conservative values, it will cease to exist as a party because the Tea Party will break off.
It's the moral equivalent of the Whigs before the Civil War. That is a party that has now gotten away from its bearings, its roots, and needs to have those rejuvenated. In this primary, we need this primary to do that.
If she does run and wins the primary, I say she beats Barack Obama. And there's very few people that
if she does run and wins the primary, it'll be a title match like Frazier Ali. I mean, it'll be.
To quote a phrase, she'll be misunderestimated. Right? Seriously, I mean, I think she will be underestimated.
By the way, I think it's one of the benefits. I think she likes being underestimated.
Oh, I agree.
She can sneak up on them. So I think it's.
Are you sure you went to Harvard Business School?
So did.
You're too normal to have gone to Harvard Business School. I didn't, you know. Yeah. No, I'm saying, and I'm not. Well, yeah.
Well, I was a naval officer first, so that was my normalcy.
All right, that's what. See,
my normalcy came from the naval.
But you were normal before you went there, and strong enough mentally that you wouldn't cave in. All right, so this is going to be out July 15th.
It's very unusual for a documentary to be in theaters in the summer.
Yeah.
We've got AMC theaters, Cinedime, the great digital.
How many theaters around the country?
We're going to start in 10 markets. And we're going to go up, Cinedime's committed to put this in 1,000 theaters, if we can generate the interest in it. So
awesome. Well, we'll be reminding people as we get closer. Congratulations. I got to see the film. Thank you. It's awesome, and I would recommend everyone see it.
Thanks, Sean.
All right, man. Thanks very much. That is, unfortunately, all the time we have left. We are on Wiener Watch 24/7. Fully resigned. And thank you for being with us, and I hope you have a great weekend. We'll see you back here on Monday night.